They tried to put me on the cover of Vogue, but my legs were too long. Every day.
My name is Samantha, and I'm 19. Have you ever wanted to change your body? This desire hasn't left me my entire life. Because of my peculiarity, I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror. I was born with such long legs that now I look like a centaur. One part of my body is human, the other is from a horse, giraffe, or some kind of other animal. I couldn't even imagine that one day these legs would save someone's life. If you read fashion magazines and think long legs are really cool, then I want to upset you. It is unbearable. I am unable to choose pants, can't put on heels, don't fit into cars, and when I get my body hair removed, they charge me double, like for 2 pairs of legs. But did I find an advantage in my legs? Yes. I walk faster than everyone. Each winter in my hometown, there were big snowfalls. The power would go off, transport would grind to a halt, and people couldn't even get to the supermarkets because of the snowbanks. It is for this my heroic legs came in handy. 24 inches of snow, that's nonsense for a person with super long legs. My heroic legs came in handy. 24 inches of snow, that's nonsense for a person with super long legs. But things at school weren't going too well. I was the main laughingstock of the whole class. I sat alone at the back, and my not-so-witty classmates threw notes with very hurtful drawings. Spider Samantha with 8 legs, Samantha jumping in the Australian savannah with a pack of kangaroos. I wanted to cry because of these jokes. I didn't have any friends, but thankfully, I had my sister Elizabeth. She is 5 years younger than me. We had a really sisterly friendship. She didn't care about the length of my legs at all. In addition, Elizabeth was often sick and stayed home. We spent wonderful evenings together, playing Monopoly or just talking about nothing. When I applied to university in another city, I was really sad to be apart from Elizabeth. But on the other hand, I was happy to be leaving my classmates. I hoped that in the city I would meet new friends and my life would change for the better. About the fact that everything will remain the same, I found out the first day in university. I sat at the edge of the auditorium so as to stretch my legs out, which otherwise wouldn't fit, and I watched my classmates. A girl came in whose name, as I later found out, was Maria. Oh, what a beauty! Elegant, miniature, and on high heels, which I would never wear. But when she was walking by, she tripped over my legs and flew down. As a result, Maria fell and broke her heel, while I got a new nickname, Samantha with python legs. During the first year, I had to focus a little less on my studies and work as a courier because I had to compensate Maria for her heels, which costed $700. Even when I gave her the money and apologized, our relationship didn't improve. Maria was the favorite person in the group, so she quickly turned all the students against me. In university, I once again felt unhappy, the same way I felt in school. In this city, I didn't have my beloved sister, nor a single person who would want to befriend a long-legged monster. I even Googled how to shorten my legs, but there's enough pain in my life. But something was good. I was presenting a report in my paper when he walked in. The head coach of the university team, John. He had extremely long legs, but they looked so proportional. He didn't look at all like a giraffe the way I did. Of course, all the girls suddenly wanted to become athletes, but I held back. Why would I go do these sports? Suddenly, I noticed the coach staring at my legs. "Girl, would you like to sign up to the track and field team?" he asked. He looked at me in such a way that I obviously accepted straight away. And though I was so ashamed of going to the first practice, I did it. I couldn't find the sports uniform that was my size and looked quite ridiculous in my short leggings. The girls on the team laughed at me, but the coach didn't care. "What wonderful athletic legs. You have great potential," he said. It was already during the first one that I realized I do have potential. These legs could not only clear snow, but they could run really fast. After one lap, I already overtook all of the girls on the team. God, for the first time in my life, I was in first place. For the first time, I was the best. I stopped trying to hide my legs and wasn't shy of my short leggings and protruding knees. I had one goal: to be the best runner and win the main track and field state competition. There was only a month left until the competition, and the coach predicted my victory. Judging by my results, I would even be able to compete in the Olympics and someday even beat Muhammad Farah's record. I really wanted to share my joy with my sister Elizabeth. I called her and told her about my achievements in track and field, but it seems she wasn't too happy for me. Her voice was quiet and sad. Maybe she's still too young. Maybe she doesn't understand what it means to be a participant of a major state sporting event. Elizabeth only asked me to come over. She needed to inform me of something, but not over the phone. At first, I didn't agree, as I had to train for the competition. But then I heard such a plea in her voice that I did. In addition, I miss my sister and parents so much. When I came to my hometown, then I was met by a snowfall. I had already forgotten what it is like when the winter is cold and snowy. I barely got home. When I came in, I saw the sad faces of my family. They aren't at all happy to see me, but that wasn't the case. My beautiful sister Elizabeth looked very bad, like a shadow. She shocked me with the news that due to a chronic kidney disease, she urgently needs an organ transplant. If they don't find a donor in the next month, then I don't even want to discuss what could happen to her. From that moment on, I could only think about Elizabeth. I didn't care about the competition, medals, or even the Olympics. Just to be able to find my sister a kidney. I messaged my coach that I would be unable to participate in the competition. He'll probably become upset when he reads this, but does it matter? I spent entire days in the hospital, holding Elizabeth's hand during the dialysis, praying and waiting for a call. More than anything in the world, I just wanted to hear the 4 words, "We found a kidney." Elizabeth felt worse and worse as the time on the clock passed. I could not save my sister. But suddenly, a doctor came into the room. He said that they found an organ and it is being brought on an ambulance. Elizabeth can get ready for the surgery. I felt such relief. My sister will live. But suddenly, the electricity turned off in the whole hospital. The backup generators turned on. I ran outside and saw an actual snow apocalypse. The snow had been falling all day, but strong wind picked it up. It damaged the wires. What a cursed city. But it's okay. At least my sister will have a kidney. Mom ran out to me all in tears. She said the car with the donor organ got stuck in a huge traffic jam. But if they don't come on time, it may be too late. There are just a few hours left while the car is 3 miles away from the hospital. Suddenly, I got a message on my phone from my coach. "What do you mean you won't run? No one other than you can do this." This was a sign. It was true. No one other than me would be able to do it. It's not for nothing nature awarded me long legs, but I could win this race. The race for my sister's life. To the car and back to the hospital, only 6 miles. It was difficult, but my mom made an agreement with the doctors, so then they gave me the container with the kidney. No one believed I would be able to run alone such a distance in snow, to the ambulance and back. But I set up the GPS and ran, maybe the most important run of my life. My long legs fell through the snow. The snowflakes cut my cheeks. My fingers became numb from the cold. Will I make it? After 2 miles, I fell into a snow slump. The snow was even in my mouth. I crawled out onto the bridge and saw the signal lights of the ambulance. When I received the treasured container, then it was as though I was filled with new strength. I took a 5-minute break and headed back. It seemed like it became easier to run. I knew that it was not just a simple kidney in my hands, but my sister's life. Once in the hospital, I checked the time. I ran 6 miles in 40 minutes. Elizabeth's surgery was successful and she's now completely healthy and went back to normal life. My long legs were worth all the jokes of my peers because as a result, they did what they were meant to do: save my sister's life. Yes, I had a high chance of winning the main state competition, but so what? I already won the greatest victory. Have you ever had situations in life?
Hey, my name is Nia, and I live with my parents, my cute little brother Caleb, and my older sister Irene. I'd always believed that a sister should be a girl's first best friend. When I was younger, I totally idolized Irene. She could do nothing wrong in my eyes. I wanted to do everything just like her. Luckily, this didn't annoy her at all. She'd let me wear her clothes, listen to her music, and even wear her makeup. Before I continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more great stories. The problem started on my first day of high school. I was so excited to finally be going to Irene's school. She has always been a social butterfly. She was popular with lots and lots of friends I'd never met because she never brought them over. For a long time, I was the complete opposite. I wasn't lonely though. I had 2 or 3 friends, but I wasn't popular at all. Nobody knew my name. Anyway, my first day of high school was rotten, mostly because of Irene. When my mom dropped us off, Irene started walking ahead of me. "Irene, wait for me!" I shouted, but she walked faster. I was hoping she would show me around or at least help me get to my first class, but when I reached the hallway, it was filled with people and I couldn't find her anywhere. I was scared and nervous, but I managed to find my way around. There were so many unfamiliar faces everywhere, and I felt too shy to say anything to anyone. At lunchtime, I felt relieved because I'd get to meet up with Irene and tell her how my day had been going so far. I really wanted someone to talk to. I went to the cafeteria to get my lunch and spotted her with 2 of her friends. I got my food and went to sit next to them. This seat is reserved," Irene said to me coldly. "Why do you think you can just sit with us? This isn't how high school works. Go look for the table with the losers," one of her other friends laughed. Irene continued to stare at me coldly until I got up. She didn't even tell them I was her sister. I wanted to cry, but I had to hold the tears inside. I couldn't understand how my own sister could treat me like that in front of her friends. I felt like my whole world was falling apart. Later that day, I confronted Irene at home. "How could you treat me like that in front of all your friends? You have no idea how horrible you made me feel. I don't know anyone but you, and you treated me like a stranger," I said. "No hard feelings, sis. You're just not popular enough to sit with us. We can't ruin our reputation by having you around. So at school, just pretend you don't know me, okay?" she said. I had to get used to making a life for myself alone. For the next few months, Irene and I were friends at home but strangers at school. That started to matter less to me though because I started to make new friends. I forgot to mention this, but I love dancing and I've always been a great dancer. One of my favorite things school. That started to matter less to me though because I started to make new friends. I forgot to mention this, but I love dancing and I've always been a great dancer. One of my favorite things to do was to search for random dance videos on YouTube. I'd watch the routines and I'd be able to do them perfectly in no time. My 2 new friends, Keisha and Darlene, loved dancing too. In fact, it's what brought us together in the first place. After school, we'd find a cool spot to create our own choreographies or copy those we had watched. We always had so much fun. Then one day, Darlene had a great idea. "I've been thinking that we should take our dancing more seriously. Let's give ourselves a name. Then we can start creating our own dance routines. We'll upload them on TikTok and YouTube. Maybe people will start hiring us to dance for money," she said. "That's a great idea," Keisha replied. I agreed too. It was my dream to someday dance in a music video, and I thought this could be a good start. Maybe somebody famous would see us. A girl can dream, right? We brainstormed for a while and finally came up with the name Thunderstorms. We all downloaded TikTok and decided that since I had the better phone, we'd use my account to make and post the videos. Our first video was silly but cool. We introduced ourselves and then did some silly freestyle dances. I went home that day feeling more excited than I had ever felt in a while. "What are you so happy about?" Irene asked as I sat on the couch next to her. "We started a TikTok account and we're going to get famous," I laughed. I didn't really believe it, but I was excited anyway. "Oh, that's cool. I've had an account for months, but I only have about 50 followers. Good luck with that," she replied almost sarcastically. I asked my sister for her TikTok name, found her, and followed her. I had no idea she had created so many videos in the past. There were videos of our pets, her doing her makeup, and there was even one of me sleeping. Oh, thank goodness she barely has any followers, I thought and sighed. "How come you have no followers if you're so popular at school?" I asked. She rolled her eyes and went to the kitchen. The next few weeks were exhilarating. The girls and I got matching outfits, and when we finished coordinating our dances, we'd upload them to TikTok. We asked all our friends to follow, and every day we gained about 20 new followers. We worked really hard trying to make sure our routines were perfect. We tried to make our videos as entertaining as possible, and we'd stay trendy by dancing to popular songs. We started getting offers to dance at small events like birthday parties and talent shows. We were getting paid to do what we loved, and we could actually begin saving for college. It was great. The crowd adored us wherever we went, and we gained many more followers on YouTube. Then one day, a famous TikToker shared our video. After that, our account blew up with followers and kind comments from new fans. Before we knew it, we had over 200,000 followers. It felt like a dream. Everyone at school knew who we were, and they were all giving us positive feedback about our dances. Meanwhile, Irene became moodier each day. Her TikTok career wasn't going that well. She tried to gain followers by posting boring jokes and makeup tutorials, but I guess her content just wasn't interesting at all. "Hey sis, do you mind sharing one of my videos so I can get some new followers?" she asked me one night. I agreed and did as she asked, but no one followed her. After that, her attitude towards me changed completely. She would barely talk to me at all. Then I noticed that she was trying to turn my own parents against me. She did 3 major horrible things. This is the first one. It was my day to take out the trash. When I went to wrap it up, I noticed that it wasn't there. Then my mom came in screaming, "Nia, there is garbage all over the lawn. Why is there garbage all over the lawn?" "She's lost her mind, Mom. I saw her empty the garbage bag on the grass. Then she just started kicking stuff around. I was too afraid to say anything to her because that kind of behavior is psychotic," Irene said. I stood there with my mouth wide open. I couldn't believe she framed me like that. My mom screamed at me a bit more and made me pick up all the garbage outside. The second thing she did was worse. A few days later, our parents left for work early and let us sleep in. When I got up, I fed the dog, got ready, and rushed to school. Irene was still there. When I got home later, the house was in a complete mess and my parents stared at me like they wanted to murder me. "What is the meaning of all of this?" my dad shouted as he pointed around the house. "Someone left the dog inside. Irene told me she left earlier than you this morning and that you must have left him in the house deliberately. Now why would you do such a stupid thing?" my mom said. The dog had destroyed our couch, pooped on the floor, and removed everything from the shelves that was within his reach. While my parents screamed at me, I saw Irene laughing. I decided not to tell my parents that it really was Irene because I still loved my sister and I wanted to understand why she was trying to sabotage me. That night, I tried to speak to her. I knocked on her bedroom door and went inside. She was busy doing a makeup tutorial for her TikTok channel. "Why have you been trying to get me in trouble? What have I done to you?" I asked. "Go away, I'm busy," she said and rolled her eyes. She wouldn't talk to me, so I walked away. At school the next day, one of my math homework assignments was returned to me and I got every single question wrong. I was horrified because I had double-checked my answers many times before submitting it. "I'll have to call your parents tonight," said Mrs. Henry. I sighed. I knew this would be a disaster. My parents were very strict about my grades, and they were furious when I got anything less than an A+ for anything. And it certainly was. She called after dinner, and my parents were fuming. "First you trashed the lawn, then the house, and now you're failing your assignments? It's that TikTok nonsense you've been doing. I'm taking your phone away," my mom shouted. "No, you can't. I need it. My friends need it too," I pleaded. "Give it to me," she said, and she grabbed it from my hands. I went up to my room fuming. My dance career was ruined. After I got ready for bed, I cried all night. The next morning, I looked like a horrible mess, and I had a terrible headache. I heard my parents leave the house, and Irene was in the shower. There was no way I was going to school in my condition. I've got to find a way to get in touch with the girls to let them know I don't have a phone anymore, and I'm not coming to school today, I thought. I snuck into Irene's room and took her cell phone off her desk. As I was about to dial Keisha's number, I noticed that Irene's journal was open. I saw my name and wondered what on earth she could have written about me in there. I took the book and hid it under my shirt and forgot about calling my friends. I went back to my room and locked the door. I turned to the first page. It read, "This journal is probably going to be filled with thoughts about how much I hate my sister." What? I thought. I couldn't understand why she would hate me. I flipped to the most recent entry. I finally got Nia's phone confiscated. I guess it was a really good idea to change all her homework answers. Hopefully her friends won't be able to upload any more dance routines and they'll lose followers. Who the hell does she think she is, trying to be more popular than me? Ugh. I was shocked. I went room and pushed the door open. She was getting ready. "Why do you hate me so much?" I shouted at her. "What are you talking about?" she asked. "I just read your journal and it's all about how much you hate me," I answered. "I've hated you since you were born. I was our parents' favorite, then you came and took that from me. You've taken everything from me. I was trying to become TikTok famous and you took that from me too. I hate you," she replied and started crying. Then I spotted my phone on her bed. "What's my phone doing here?" I said while grabbing it. "It's too late now," she said with an evil grin on her face. I opened TikTok and all my content had been deleted and I only had about 1,000 followers left. "What did you do?" I cried. And just like that, my role model became my worst enemy. I eventually got my phone back, but the girls and I decided to use Irene's phone for the videos. It was hard starting from scratch again, but because we were already well known, we were able to get most of our followers back. Our fans wanted to know why we switched accounts, so one day I went live and told them all about the horrible things my sister had done. Now she has no followers at all. People shared my live video and described Irene as the sister from hell. Even her own friends didn't want to talk to her anymore. Months later, I eventually started to feel sorry for her, so I started talking to her again. Things have improved between us, but we still have a weird relationship. I just wish we could be best friends.